Now, a lot of you have been asking questions, and we need to know. We've got team coverage, and that's where we see meteorologist Daniel Bonds and our social media manager Tony, who are answering your questions in the Weather Center.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Efren. We do have a lot of questions out there. A lot of people are interested in this storm. Tony's been kind of going through these questions, trying to figure out some of the best questions, and I think we got a few of them nailed down for this evening, don't we, Tony?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have been messaging us on Facebook. They've been talking to us on Facebook Live. Got a lot of questions. We're going to take one or two of them right here. First one is, should we wait until Saturday or Sunday to prepare?
Yeah, I was reading up on that. National Weather Service in Columbia says we need to be thinking about preparation. For us here in the Midlands, though, we don't typically have to evacuate or that sort of thing, but we certainly do have to think about what we can do. Now, the forecast track, if we can show it there, it shows where it's going to be making a landfall, at least maybe portions of Florida, and notice it does stay away from South Carolina in the 5-day period. But according to FEMA, we can always have food, water, and medicine available. We can also always have batteries and radio and a charger, obviously, for our phones and that sort of thing. Also, according to FEMA, gas up and have some cash on hand. Lastly, they say, get an insurance checkup. Not a bad idea. Check with your agent, keep your documents with you, know your policy, and consider flood insurance. And you always can visit floodsmart.gov for some more of this information. But that's according to FEMA. We don't necessarily have to be prepared, but at least start thinking about what we may have to do if this thing were to make an impact on us.
And keep in mind that the biggest questions that people are wanting to know immediately is that what do I need to pack, what do I need to get? You know, we've had our resources here that we've been telling people, but the greatest resource that has been out every year consistently on time is from the South Carolina Emergency Management Division. They've got an app that you can load up all your information on, and if you need to know what do I need to pack, just go to scemd.org, and they've got that information. We shared that information. In fact, when the hurricane guides came out, we had it here at the station. It wouldn't be a bad idea to actually grab one of those when you can. They've been available at Walgreens and at the EMD over in Fish Hatchery.
I think at this point for us in the Midlands is be prepared, at least think about it, but don't be paranoid as of yet, because we're not necessarily in harm's way right now.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say the News 19 app. Please download. We've got plenty of details on there. History is a big thing that for South Carolinians. Happens to be the 30th anniversary of a huge event here, Hurricane Hugo. And of course, everyone, when they start hearing that, they see a hurricane path, they say, isn't this the same track that Hugo took? What do you guys say to that?
Yeah, and obviously Hugo is a litmus test for us here in South Carolina. If you lived here in 1989, you remember that one well. It hit Sumter hard, it hit Charleston hard, it hit Camden, Kershaw County hard. It hit a lot of areas pretty tough. But in a comparison here, this is Hugo and this is Dorian. That kind of rainbow colored track, that is Hugo, and that kind of lighter colored or thinner colored track, that is Dorian. And you notice there, Category 1 storm right now just north of San Juan. You can see the forecast path for Dorian and the actual path for Hurricane Hugo, a lot different. The biggest thing you have to remember is each storm is very different, causes different issues. So no storm's alike. So I know that everybody wants to compare Hugo. As you mentioned, 30th anniversary, but these are totally different storms.
Yeah, it's very difficult for the general public to kind of ascertain, well, this hurricane track or this direction where it's going is very similar to Hugo. Like every tornado and every hurricane, they are not absolutely identical. And when it comes to the evolution of where it started and where it ended, let alone what it done, everything is going to be different. There may be subtle variations where they're the same at some point, but they're always going to be different. So never believe that just one hurricane that happened to hit in a specific area is going to be identical in timing, in strength, and in damage to a previous storm.
All right.
We got more questions coming up, but
yeah, well, if you have any more questions, obviously you can send us questions, obviously online. We'll try to answer them as well, but for now, we'll send it back to you guys in the studios.
All right, appreciate it so much. This is